Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and for the last week, I've been driving the 2025 BMW M5 Touring. Up front is a 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8, as well as a plug-in hybrid system, and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, I don't need to tell you why I'm super excited to be making this video, but I will anyway. I've been spending the last week driving the M5 Touring, and I am so incredibly thrilled with this car. It's a WAGON M5, the first time it's been offered here in the United States. And when BMW asked, hey, do you want an M5 for a week? I was giddy like a schoolgirl. And so today, we're going to be diving into what it's like to live with a $145,000 BMW M5 wagon. But if you'd like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8 up front, as well as the plug-in hybrid system. Well, we've seen the 4.4-liter twin-turbo here on the channel actually a couple of times. It's a wonderful engine. From what I've seen as well, they're decently reliable, all things considered. I wouldn't say Toyota reliability, but they are relatively reliable in the world of BMW. They make fantastic power, they sound good, and they're lovely. However, here for the M5, they've turned it up to 11 and added a plug-in hybrid system. So that means two things. First of all, it means that driving at slow speeds, you will be in electric mode. You can drive this car in electric mode in some settings. I pulled it in and out of the driveway the other night. We were having a storm, so I pulled it into the driveway, out of the driveway really late, and the gas motor never turned on. So I didn't wake up any of my neighbors or cause any sort of fuss. Easy little simple jobs like that, drive-throughs, parking lots, neighborhoods, can all be handled by the electric motor. The second thing the electric motor does is add to the horsepower number, because this pumps out a whopping 717 horsepower. That is truly saying something. Now, there is some weight that this car has to counterbalance, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk about that later. But it is very powerful, and this motor loves to sing. Like I said, paired to it is an 8-speed automatic transmission. No real interesting guffs here. It works well, no complaints, fast shifting, and that's it. Last but not least about the M5 is that it is all-wheel drive. However, when put into track mode, it actually will drop down to two-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. So, very cool system there. How does it feel to drive the BMW M5 Touring? Well, first of all, you feel like the man on the block. Everyone who's interested in cars takes a look at this and says, yeah, that's pretty honkin' cool. You have all the power in the world. 717 horsepower you can unleash on the general public whenever you want to. It is glorious. All right, just a real smooth, outside of town. We'll do a little acceleration burst once I come around here. We are in sport mode. There's normal, sport, and track. Oh. Oh. My ears popped. Yeah, that is, that's quick. Let's put it down into first. Doggy. I have no idea why I did that, and I'm quite frankly embarrassed. It's fast. This thing is so fast, and it doesn't actually feel as fast as it is. You look at that number and you're like, that's someone else's speed. That ain't mine. And it is. So... Oh man, this is very close to breaking the sound barrier. At least it feels that way. The rest of the driving experience is, in a word, bad. Mainly the ride quality. This car over bumps is so incredibly unpredictable. It's like shaking a bottle of champagne and trying to pull the cork out. Every single bump, you never really know how it's going to react. I've hit large bumps and gone, wow, I didn't feel that. I've hit small bumps and the car wants to jump a lane either side. It just has this weird bounce to it. I assume, now I don't have information on this, but I assume it's because the car is so heavy that it's so high strung with the suspension to keep it from bottoming out everywhere that you end up getting this sort of really bouncy aftershock anytime you hit a bump. Now on smooth roads, I was able to find a smooth back road during my week with it. It's phenomenal. It rides wonderful. But the second you hit a crack or a pothole, all bets are off and you have no idea how this car is going to react every single time. And that is so incredibly annoying. I feel like if this car actually had proper dampers and suspension, it would be incredible. But it's not, and driving it actually gets pretty tiresome. It's just not what I would expect out of BMW. I expect this sort of lead sled on the highway that's unbothered by any outside variables. But this, this is a dog during a thunderstorm. And it's just not that BMW experience. And I've always felt that BMWs are this sort of symphony of man and machine, and you don't get that feeling here in this M5. Is it brutally fast? Yes. And it is so fun to push that loud pedal, but it doesn't have the confidence on the road that I expect from the blue and white circle. With that stuff out of the way, we'll revisit that, but with that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me is a completely digital gauge cluster. I actually really like this. It's very pleasing to look at. It's very cool, interesting, and unique. There's a lot of cool things. Funny enough, with that suspension, this car will actually notify you if there's an uneven road coming up. It's like BMW knew that it would be kind of annoying to drive over bumps, so they say, hey, strap in, you're gonna have a rough 3 to 4 miles coming up. But overall, I like it. No complaints. On the steering wheel, on the left, we do have our cruise control settings, and off to the right, we have our skip track settings, music, voice commands, volume, things like that. We also get our M buttons on the steering wheel, so these can be some preset performance modes. So when you want to drop it into that special fast mode, you can do it at the push of a button, and of course, we have paddle shifters around the back. Off to the left, we have our headlight switches in this cool linear layout. We have some carbon fiber as well as our climate vent control. And moving on to the door, we have our Bowers & Wilkins speaker, lock and unlock, memory seats, power mirrors, power windows. Moving into the center, we have a giant infotainment display. This does have wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all of the modern fixins you would ever want out of a vehicle like this. We have tons and tons of really cool apps in here. You can spend months going through these menus and still not see everything available. I like it. It's clear. It's not super distracting, although it might look that way. And here's the backup camera as well as 360 camera. You get a lot of different camera options, which is very, very nice. Climate controls are also ran through the screen. I found these pretty easy to use, so I'm not too worried about them. We do also have heated and ventilated seats as well as a heated steering wheel, all again found here in the center. Then we do have our hazard switch and defrost. The interesting thing about the hazard switch, and the new X3 does this as well, when you hit it, for the first couple flashes, it flashes all of the lights in the interior as well, just to remind you that your hazards are on. Very, very overstimulating, but kind of cool at the same time. Then we have some vent adjustments. We have 2 wireless chargers down below, and of course, cup holders. So we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the M5 Touring. And unfortunately it fails, but we could have predicted that eons ago. Then we move up to the center. So off to the left, we have the start-stop button as well as the shifter. The shifter is this tiny, tiny little nub, and park is its own button, auto-holding brake. I don't mind this. I think it actually works pretty well. Easy to use once you figure it out. And off to the right, we have our media dial. I love that they give you the M logo in this to remind you you are driving something pretty gosh darn special. And we have our volume and skip track off to the right, and then we have a couple of interesting buttons. Parking camera, traction control, that's fine. But then we have the M hybrid system, so you can set if you want to be driving in electric, if you want to be driving in hybrid, or dynamic, which it says hybrid drive focusing on maximum drive power for short distances. So you do have that option. We also have the M mode. So again, as I mentioned with that poll, we have road, sport, and track. Track, you have to be stopped in order to put it into track, and it says, hey, do not use this on public roads. So very, very cool. Again, it will swap it to rear wheel drive for that. And then of course we have the setup mode, so I can kind of customize my own setting as well as my M buttons if I would like to do so. We do get a center console, 12-volt outlet found in there, and then we have the seats. The seats are heated, ventilated, power memory. They are not massaging. I would have liked to have seen massage in a car at this price tag. However, they are the sporty M bucket seats, so I guess that's fine enough. I like getting car massages. Anyway, they are big guy friendly. I'm a big guy, and it's friendly to me, so I like that quite a bit. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, getting in the back of the BMW M5 Touring. Stepping in here. Oh, the seats actually have a lot more bucket to them than what I was expecting. So right off the bat, you have M staring you right in the face. Love that. You can actually see through the seat. It's kind of a cool view, although you can't really get any rolling shots because a person would be there. But anyway, giant speaker grills over here. We do have sunshades as well. Love to see that. Down below, we do have our own climate controls as well as rear heated seats. We have 2 USB-Cs and a little cubby. And of course, the red seats from the front carry on back here. We also do have 2 cup holders back here in the center console, and we get to enjoy the giant sunroof here in the M5 wagon. Long live long roofs, and I love this long roof going over my head. It is just so wonderful. Tons of natural light, and I fit back here. It's not as spacious as you would think with a car this big, but it is spacious enough. My knees aren't hitting the seat in front of me, and so I consider that a huge win. I am riding in the back of an M5 wagon, and that is enough to make me smile on any day. So, very, very cool. Oh, I actually just found something out. Look at this. I didn't even see that at first. Oh, someone left a mint wrapper in there. Okay, well, I'm going to leave that. You get a USB-C. Look at that, and you have that over here as well. Very, very cool. Right around the back of the BMW M5 Touring, there is a button just underneath the BMW logo for the power-operated tailgate. BMW has always been very, very good about having power-operated tailgates on their wagons. I reviewed a diesel 3 Series wagon a few years ago, and that had a power-operated tailgate as well. So cool to see that they carried it on here. And we don't have any giant struts going right here. It just has these 2 right down here, which is very, very cool. Once we are back here, this is actually the charger, the plug-in charger for the plug-in hybrid. We have some netting over here and here. We do have releases for the second row as well, and we have a 12-volt outlet. Let that down. There you go. It does fold flat. However, the passenger seat is far back to where it doesn't let it do that. But if I were to move the passenger seat up forward, it would fold flat. We can come down here as well. We do have some storage and things like that. But that is where the battery lives, the hybrid battery. And so you don't really get any more storage than that. Come up here, we do have the trunk as well as the lock button, but we'll just do the trunk button there, and it is power operated right back down. Love to see that. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I think this is absolutely killer. It's finished in this lovely matte black color. BMW calls their matte colors frosted, which is really cool. So this is like a frosted black metallic. I'll put the official name up on the screen now. Love it, love it, love it. I think it looks wonderful. People say that the front end isn't great, you know, the big grills. I actually don't mind them. I think the big grills look fine, especially in this black color. And I will say, this is my true and honest opinion. I think the rear end of this car is top 5 wagon rear ends ever. It is so pretty to the point where I normally back my cars into my driveway. I've been leaving this rear end sticking out in my neighborhood so everyone can admire how great the back end of this car looks. I think it is one of the best looking BMW rear ends ever. All throughout history, it's wonderful and fantastic. And walking outside to this car has been such a pleasure, such an honor. And twiddling the little M key fob in my pocket has been so special to me that just looking at this car, admiring this car is so incredibly fantastic. But let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the M5 Touring for the last week? Well, as I mentioned with the looks and whatnot, this is such an utmost privilege, and I don't want you guys to think that that's lost on me. Having BMW drop a $145,000 car off at my house for me to do whatever the heck I want with is a huge privilege, and I was wishing for these days 5 to 10 years ago. I thought, man, if I could just have a Corolla for a week, I would be the happiest boy alive. And now I get to drive around in an M5 and critique it. Like that's the coolest thing in the world. So I don't want you to think that that's lost on me. I think the tech in here is good. I like the infotainment. I like the gauge cluster. The seats are comfortable. They make you feel special. The carbon fiber bits are great. I think it looks great. And again, just seeing that M5 badge looking back at you is incredibly special. But I don't love this car. I like it a lot. And man, whenever I see one, yeah, I'm gonna oogle for a little bit. But driving it has honestly disappointed me a little bit. And it's all down to how it handles the bumps. Yes, it is a big and heavy car, but I've driven big and heavy cars. I've driven the Hummer EVs. I've driven several of those. Those are big, heavy vehicles. It just doesn't have that signature BMW ride that I've come to know and love from their previous products. BMW used to have the saying of ultimate driving machine, and that was true for a very long time. The E46 M3 might be one of the most well-balanced, well-performing cars ever built, especially in the gas era. As we're moving towards electric, I think that will be on the Mount Rushmore of cars forever and ever and ever. Even like the E60 M6s and M5s, those are incredible cars. They drive wonderfully. They are the ultimate driving machines with their V10s. Even kicking it back to the old E30s, those drove so wonderful. They were this beautiful blend of luxury and sport. They could tear your face off, but they didn't tear your spine out. They rode this incredibly fine line that was so fantastic. And this car just doesn't do that. It feels as though the only agenda that this car sets out to achieve is straight line speed. And it's very good at that. It is incredibly good at that. It is fast, it's wicked, it sounds good. But the rest of the experience just leaves a lot to be desired. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I do treat this car a lot like EV products that I've been driving recently. They're incredibly quick in a straight line, very punchy, boom, wow your friends. Everyone I gave a ride in this car, I say, watch this, and then punch it. And they go, whoa! But acceleration is the only party trick that EVs are really able to have. They're not that agile, they're very heavy. And once you've done 3 0 to 60 launches, that's all you really have to show. And that's how I feel about this BMW. I don't really enjoy driving it on the highway. I don't like dailying it with the all-wheel drive system and the weird suspension. It just becomes a lot. And so I wanted to love this car. I wanted to be head over heels. I wanted to make my desktop background and phone wallpaper this car, because I do that with the press cars that I absolutely love. For the following 5, 6, 7 weeks, you know, I just can't get enough of it, even when the manufacturer takes the car back. And maybe I'll do that with the back end. You know, maybe I'll make my phone wallpaper the rear end of this car because it is so pretty, but I can't say I'm adding this to the wish list. I can't say this is going to be one of those cars that when I finally make it big, I'll go out and buy. Unless they do something about the suspension. It's just, it's a few eggs shy of a dozen. And I think when you have a nameplate as popular, as famous, as important as M5, there's a lot you have to live up to. And so maybe this car is under harsher scrutiny than other vehicles. If Genesis put out a vehicle like this, maybe I wouldn't be so hard on it. But BMW has been the gold standard for the last 30 years, in my opinion. And I have to say, I think a little bit of that gold is flaking off. But gosh darn it, will it melt your face in a straight line. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to BMW for not only loaning me this M5 Touring, but entrusting me with it. I'm just a guy with a video camera, and I got to spend a week with the M5 Touring. I'm the luckiest man on planet Earth. And so huge thank you to them. Huge thank you to G. Schmitz for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle. And of course, the Midwest Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.